Hey guys, I'm Justin C, and we're here cooking today with the Prokan Outdoor Grill. Today we're gonna make a beautiful Chipotle maple salmon on a cedar plank, a roasted potato salad with some bacon, lemon, and some nice herbs chopped up in there as well. We have some beautiful line-caught BC salmon, organic oceans, line-caught by our own fishermen. We use this salmon at our restaurants, never frozen. It's caught, put on a boat, and shipped to us on a plane, and it's really the best salmon you can get in Canada. We also have here some fingerling potatoes. We're gonna roast it in the oven, and I'm gonna teach you guys how to make a sauce to go over the salmon, and then we're gonna grill that on a cedar plank right here on our grill. Something really important to remember when you're using a cedar plank is you have to soak the plank for a couple hours, preferably 2 to 3 hours in advance. You could even do it overnight. And the reason why we soak the plank is because if you don't soak your cedar plank, it's gonna catch fire on the grill and you're not gonna get a nice cook on the salmon. It also induces some steam when you're cooking the salmon, so you're gonna get a really perfect cook with a beautiful charred outside. So let's get started and I'll show you guys the cedar plank. All right, so as I was saying, we have this beautiful salmon. This is a coho salmon. We've just taken the pin bones out and trimmed it down so that it fits on top of our cedar plank. I'm gonna show you a really good pro chef tip that we do at the restaurants, every restaurant I've worked at, and with every piece of seafood and a lot of other proteins in general. This is a dry cure. So it's 50-50 of kosher salt and sugar, just granulated sugar. The reason why we use both kosher salt and granulated sugar is because it's a finer grain. So it's gonna help penetrate the surface of the salmon a lot better. So all you wanna do is you've got your salmon cleaned up and you're gonna evenly coat the salmon on both sides with a generous amount of sugar and salt. This is gonna look like a lot, but we're gonna let it sit for about 30 minutes and then we're gonna just let it wash off with some ice water. What this is gonna do, it's gonna remove a lot of the moisture from the salmon, and all of the sugar and the salt flavor is gonna start going into the meat evenly all the way through. So you wanna get all the sides, the skin side as well. And another thing we do at restaurants is we always temper the protein that we're cooking. So you never wanna cook something right out of the fridge. So this is another good way, while we're waiting for our 30-minute cure, is we're gonna let it sit and it's just gonna come up to room temp so that we're not cooking against the cold temp, which is gonna result in a more uneven cook. These are restaurant tips that we do that you can do at home, kind of gain that pro level of salmon cooking. So this guy is ready to sit for 30 minutes. I'm gonna take him over there and we're just gonna let him rest. All right, now before we get our potatoes roasting, we're gonna get our oven preheated to about 350, 375 degrees. And while it's preheating, we're gonna make our marinade to go over the salmon that's gonna sit on top of the cedar plank. So the ingredients we're using in the marinade is a bit of maple syrup, olive oil, a bit of vinegar, ginger, lemon zest and juice, some Dijon mustard, some Cajun spices, some garlic powder, and some smoked paprika. So first we're gonna just take out some ginger. We're just gonna peel off some of the outside. Save that for later. And we're just gonna take a zester and grate this into the bowl. You could use a knife and chop this. This is just an easier way to get a finer grated ginger. You don't want anything too chunky because it's gonna burn over the grill. That's perfect. So start with that. We're gonna add a couple spoons of Dijon, and we'll include a recipe on the screen as well so you guys can do it. I've done this one many times so we kind of know the ratios already. So we have here so far ginger, our Dijon mustard, some maple syrup. This is gonna add a nice sweetness and caramelization on the salmon. Some olive oil, a little bit of vinegar. We're also gonna zest some lemon. It's gonna give a nice citrus flavor, really freshen it up. And then we can add our spices and mix it all together. So we have a bit of our Cajun spice. And some really nice smoked paprika. I'm just gonna give that a stir. So the last thing we're gonna do is add a bit of salt and pepper. So it's nice red. It's got lots of garlic powder, onion powder, from the Cajun spice, some fresh grated ginger, you got your fresh lemon zest, and some olive oil, some maple syrup to round it off with the sweetness. These are gonna balance really well, and it's gonna also caramelize really nicely over the salmon. All right, let's roast our potatoes for the potato salad. So right now, we've turned on our Prokan Cano oven. We've got it preheated to 400 to 410 degrees. We're just gonna roast these off in a bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. Once they come off the roast, we're gonna let them cool down, and I will show you guys how to make the mayo sauce that's gonna coat this potato salad. Then we're gonna chop up some fresh green onions and some dill. It's gonna be a nice bacon, eggy, boiled eggs, potato salad. So let's go ahead and get these seasoned. We've got this beautiful attachment here. This is actually a Detroit style pizza pan. It's got a pair of handles, but it also doubles as a tong. So you can use this over the grill, and then you can also use this to grab the Detroit style pizza pan. We're gonna use this instead of for pizza today, but to roast our potatoes. So let's go ahead and get our potatoes in here. We're gonna drizzle some olive oil over top. It's gonna be a nice clean fat to cook with, and then just a bit of smoked salt and some crushed black pepper. We're gonna keep it really simple for the cook on the potatoes, because all the seasoning is gonna be in the sauce with your fatty egg yolks, with your fatty egg whites, your hard-boiled eggs. You got some smoky bacon, all the herbs and the mayo and the lemon zest is gonna really kind of bring it together. So let's go ahead and get this in the oven. All right, so we got our potatoes in the Prokan Cano oven. Something to definitely remember when you guys are using this oven is you really have to light the gas first before this actually works. So we have to light your gas, get the oven lit, and then your motor will actually turn on and start activating, and you can control your temperature at that point. If you try to use the temperature gauge or the motor before you light, it will have a safety mechanism that won't turn on. So make sure you light your oven, light the gas, and then we'll get the motor running, which is gonna help evenly cook your potatoes. All right, so the potatoes should be fully done now. We're gonna take our door off, and we're gonna pull our potatoes out. And we're just gonna check if they're cooked. So the way we check in a restaurant is we use a cake tester. You get them at any kitchen store or online. You just poke it, and if it goes in nice and soft, then you know you're good. And if there's any resistance, then you know you should cook it a little longer. These are nice and hot, so they're gonna carry over cooking a bit. I know these are done. If you don't have a cake tester, you could always use a toothpick, a fork, or a knife. It'll do the same thing. But like, as you can see, these guys are beautifully cooked. They're nice and roasted. They're sizzling in the olive oil, the salt and pepper. So all we're gonna do now is we're gonna get them out of the hot pan so that it stops continuously getting hot, because we do want them to cool down a bit. So we'll let them cool down a bit, and then we'll get our sauce and our mayo ready to mix everything in. You gotta let them cool down somewhat so that it doesn't melt your mayo, but you could do a warm potato salad or a chilled potato salad. It's kind of up to you what kind of preference you have on that, but as long as it's not too hot, then this recipe will work perfectly for you. So we'll get these out of the pan, and I will start grilling our salmon. All right, so it's been 30 minutes. We've cured our salmon in that 50-50 sugar salt dry cure. So as you can see, there's a lot of liquid that's come out of the salmon, kind of draining off into the corner. All of that was in the fish. So what it's now done is not only have we put that sugar and salt flavor into the fish all the way through the meat, but we've also taken out some of the moisture, which is going to create a nicer bite and a nice firm fish. This is why when you get a fish at a restaurant, it's a lot different than the fish you cook at home. These are just some small pro chef tips that are going to kind of help you cook like a chef at home with not much more complication than you would, because you always have sugar and salt at home anyways. And this works on things like chicken, pork, beef, not only just fish. So I'm gonna go wash this in some ice water, and we'll be right back to kind of start our potato salad. All right, here we are. We've got our cedar plank soaked. Again, it's really important that you soak this for at least a couple hours. If you're worried, do it overnight. But if you don't, what's gonna happen is gonna catch fire and it's gonna ruin your salmon. So we're gonna get this out of the water, let it drip a little bit. We've just put a couple plates on it to kind of make sure that it's fully submerged. It's okay if it's still wet, because you do want all that moisture. We're gonna get this out of the way. Let's get our salmon on the plank, get our marinade on it, and let's get it on the grill. All right, so we've got our marinade that we made earlier. It's got a really nice kind of Cajun, gingery, garlic, got a bit of maple. It's kind of like a Chipotle marinade. I like to put the marinade on the salmon before putting it on the plank, just so that there's no excess kind of marinade burning on that plank. So let's go ahead and spoon this over the salmon. And we're just gonna spread it, and you wanna cover every surface of this salmon. Some of it's gonna fall off, and that's okay. We're gonna cook the salmon skin side down. Some people don't like the skin, some people do. I prefer eating the skin. I do like it. It gets nice and crispy and flavored, but with the nature of this kind of cooking, it's really easy to pull the skin off after if the skin's not for you. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. All right, so it's nice and coated. It smells amazing. We're gonna get this over here on the wooden plank. And we're ready to get this on the grill. All right, we're ready to go. The Prokan grill is hot and ready. We've got this beautiful Prokan outdoor kitchen, but we're gonna cook the salmon on the Prokan grill. We've preheated an hour in advance. You wanna make sure that you're preheating in advance, otherwise your salmon's not gonna turn out properly. We do the same thing in restaurants and you should do it at home as well. So we can open our Prokan grill and we're gonna put the cedar plank right on the middle. We're gonna go ahead and close the lid for now. We're gonna let it cook for 5-10 minutes. We're gonna check on the flames, and then we're gonna check the thermometer of the internal temperature of the fish. We're looking for 130 degrees for a medium cook on this. Restaurants, we typically don't wanna cook the salmon well done. If you do wanna cook the salmon well done, that's totally fine. You wanna cook it to about 145. We're just gonna use a thermometer, little probe thermometer, and we're gonna check the thickest part of the salmon. But we can leave it closed for now and just kind of monitor the heat as we go. All right, we got our potatoes on our board. We're gonna get ready to cut these. We're gonna take a quick peek at our salmon, make sure that it's going well. It smells amazing, it's looking great. It's starting to kind of sizzle around the outside, which is exactly what we want. It's got it on medium heat. It's still sitting around 450, and that's perfect for now. So let's let that keep going as we get our potatoes ready. So we roasted these in the Prokan Cano oven. They're perfectly like fire roasted and kind of grilled on the outside. We're gonna just chop them up. We let them cool down a little bit. They're kind of at a room temperature now, so we'll just quickly chop these guys up. We wanna cut them into like bite-sized, kind of irregular pieces. I'm just cutting on a bias, rotating. It's a pretty rustic kind of potato salad. And then as we finish cutting these, we're gonna show you the sauce. It's gonna have some nice crispy bacon, some boiled eggs, some mayo, and some herbs, lemon, and some mayo. All right, excellent. So these are nice and cut up. I'm gonna move this to the side. Pull this over, just into our bowl. We're gonna zest some more lemon. I like a lot of lemon to just kind of cut the fatness of the bacon and the mayo. We're also gonna juice a bit of lemon. Gonna grab our juicer, just squeeze that right in the bowl. We want nice acidic potatoes, kind of like when you get like a Greek potato at a Greek restaurant. We're kind of taking a potato salad based on that. So we've got lots of lemon. We're gonna do some salt and pepper, some nice ground pepper. We're gonna add some Dijon, so just smooth Dijon mustard. I don't want too much. Some mayo, you can use QP or Hellmann's. Any kind of mayo will work. And we'll make sure to put the recipe on the screen for you guys as well. We got some bacon that we've just cooked off, chopped it up, and we're gonna add that as well. Some nice eggs, some just hard-boiled eggs. And then the only thing we're missing here is our herbs. So let's chop up some nice fresh dill and a couple scallion onions. So the dill just nice and roughly chopped. It's great. Same with the green onions. We're just gonna take off just the green parts and just gonna thinly cut these guys to add some like onion flavor. It's gonna kind of make it nice and herbaceous. You can save those bottoms for grilling later and for something else. There we go. So all we have to do now is mix this guy up. All right, we've got everything in our potato salad. We're gonna check for seasoning, so we're just gonna taste a little bit. It's fantastic, it's acidic. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, but it's really, really good. Actually, I'm gonna do a little bit of black pepper as well. So we're just gonna give it one more mix, and this potato salad is a nice warm potato salad ready to go with this salmon. The salmon's just about done cooking by now. You can do this as a warm potato salad, or if it's really hot like today, as you can probably tell, you can do this as a chilled potato salad too. All you do is just throw it in the fridge, and honestly, it gets better the next day. So you could actually do this a day in advance if you like. So we're just gonna put this in our fridge for now. And then we're gonna check on our salmon. All right, we're back at the Prokan grill, and the salmon is hot and it is ready. So let's get this guy opened up. We've thrown a couple lemons just to kind of char them to finish. We're gonna squeeze that over. This guy is perfect, it's roasted. We're just gonna take a quick temp and make sure that it's the doneness we want at the thickest part. We're sitting here at 130, 135, that's excellent. The thinner part's gonna be a little more done. It's nice balance. So as long as your thicker part is hitting 130, then we're happy. So this guy's good to come off. We can take him off. We'll leave the lemons on for now. But like, as you guys can see, this guy looks amazing and he smells incredible. So let's get this guy on our table. So here we are. We've got everything cooked. We've got our potato salad ready. We've roasted our potatoes. It's got a nice charcoal roasty flavor. We've done that in the Prokan Cano oven. We've done our cedar plank salmon with a beautiful marinade grilled to perfection on the Prokan grill. So let's just get this plated up. On the side here, we've also charred a couple of lemons. It's gonna be a nice, juicy, acidic kind of finish on that. So let's get this plated up, and we're gonna serve this family style today. If you like, you could do smaller individual portions with the salmon and do the same kind of technique. And then if you want, you could plate those up. But I think with the summer and the family and friends, it's nice to kind of have that big piece of salmon. It's kind of theatrical and it's large, and it's kind of fun to have that in the middle of the table and share with your friends. So let's get this guy on the plate. It's gonna be a little tricky because he is large. So we're just got a little paddle here. We're gonna lift him up. Actually, you know what? We're gonna slide him over. Just slide this right off very carefully. And it is a large piece of salmon. This can easily feed about 6 people comfortably. So let's get this out of the way. We're just gonna clean up our table a little bit. So we got our salmon here, a little charred lemon, and we'll plate our potato salad. So as we did, we got our boiled eggs in here, our bacon, some vinegar, lots of lemon juice, some nice herbs, dill, and green onions. This is a great summer side dish. And this is one of those things, again, where you could do this potato salad ahead of time. It actually tastes even better the next day. So feel free to do this in advance, put it in your fridge, let all the flavors kind of mingle. And it kind of takes the stress out of cooking too, right? You have everything ready. In the kitchen, we call that mise en place, having everything in its place, everything ready in advance. And we're pretty much ready here. I'm just gonna finish the salmon with a little bit of smoked sea salt, just to kind of add to that nice smoky flavor that the cedar plank gave it, and we're good to go. All right, that's it for today, guys. So we've really just kind of cooked with a couple different parts of the kitchen, which is amazing. And as a chef, this is a dream kind of outdoor kitchen to work with. It's not just a barbecue. You got your oven, you have your grill, and soon we're gonna show you how to use the Argentinian style grill as well. You can get your own oven, see the details at the Prokan website, which is prokangrills.com. And make sure to leave us a comment below of what you wanna see cooking next. This really is just a next level oven for us to work with. It's a dream to work with, and you kind of get to use different parts of the kitchen at the same time, but in the nice weather of the summer outdoors. And we're really happy to work with Prokan today, and we'll see you guys on the next one.